welcome today to this panel about AI, sustainability and investments, and thanks for joining us. Let me introduce our esteemed panel today. So to my left, Benjamin Verschluss from Northern Trust. You're a Senior Vice President for Business Development, and you focus on advising asset owners, asset allocation, managers on problematics such as artificial intelligence and investments. Eric Leandri, CEO of Aleria, one of IHC portfolio companies. You have been disrupting the industry of data and cybersecurity for several decades, and now are bringing artificial intelligence and sovereignty to the world. Thank you for joining us. Moustafa Rashad, I pronounced it correctly, CEO of IHC Investments. You are the CEO and are shaping how IHS invests in oil, gas, and infrastructure on energy around the world, and of course around how to bring artificial intelligence and decarbonization across the industry. Esteban Fanger, CEO and founder of Xange, where you focus on bringing environmental data, digital infrastructure, and how it can improve the transparency of decision making in sustainability and emerging ecological markets. So thanks so much for joining us today. Maybe to start us off with a question on AI and investments. So I think it's widely accepted that AI will bring productivity to the world. There are, however, more nuanced views on how the short to medium term is going to pan out, and what are the risks and trade-offs that this creates, both in terms of AI, but also in terms of the sustainability required to actually enable such AI. So maybe if I start with you, Benjamin, how do you make the difference and the trade-off between the short and medium term and long-term view?
I think, look, in recent years, AI has taken off very, very fast. And I think the number of use cases that start to erupt has evolved very rapidly. I can honestly say what we are doing today is already paramount to what's happening in the world, and that will continue to evolve as such as well. I can honestly say what we can't predict what AI is going to bring in the long term, but in the short and medium term, we can already do everything that is in our possibilities to create a more sustainable environment, and use AI in our advantage of getting the right set of data, bringing it to life, bringing sustainability into investments, and used for the better purpose. So from that angle, I'm still very much looking into what can we do by 2030, and we need to evolve continuously with the latest solutions towards what we can do towards 2035 and beyond, I would say.
And thank you. And Eric, from your vantage point of being one of the players in this drop of that, how do you see this and the trade-off?
Well, I think you are very lucky, because when you can look at 2030, I have a difficulty to look above 2 years from now, and I have to implement every day. So I think AI, and especially data and big data, as something very interesting today, and especially for sustainability. First of all, it can transform. I was listening somebody before who said that there is a new scam with about green new scam or something about sustainability new scam. No, it was the president some minutes ago or 1 hour ago. I think AI and data apply perfectly well, can transform what we talk about means sustainability and decarbonization and all these things into real assets for implementing better, now we say data center, and we talk about it with IHC, implementing better policy for government to apply and to preserve their own environment, and implementing things to find a way to reinvest for the countries and for the companies and for the citizen through something who has a real impact today. So first, playing with this big data and using all this data. We were talking previously about the fact that we can do weather prediction for risk of climate. And this, you need AI because it has to be tremendous amount of data to do this type of analysis. To real analysis of the impact of this green energy and even nuclear energy on your data center, and even the creation of data center itself, and the mining field and everything that we do in IHC, for example, we have to apply this to get this carbon credit and reuse them for government and everything. But these people will talk better than me about that. What I love with Northern Trust and Xange, and what I love with IHC, we can apply big data and AI to understand sustainability in a way that is not only something made somewhere in Paris with some people who seems to be from, the green part of the world. It's addressing real things, real problems, and giving solution and even financement to improve the quality of what we are delivering to the world.
And how do you see it from your side, being both an investor but also a user of AI and playing in the value chain?
Sure. Thank you for having me today. When we talk about AI, from our perspective, the long-term story is crystal clear. AI has proven the more efficient in operation, cut cost. We are even at IHC level, we are taking better decisions utilizing Aleria platform, our sister company for sure, under IHC ecosystem. Coming back to your question, we do believe that the gap between the short term and long term is normal gap. People now is trying to implement the full advanced AI technology across the entire operations. At the same time, we see this is a normal transition phase between the long term and short term, because from our perspective, the company is now trying to find the proper solution, how to deploy the suitable AI tool or engine inside the operation. As long as you have the ability to complement within the entire ecosystem, to choose the right tools, the right agent, you will reach to the tangible results at the end. We do believe that the issue now is not for the AI to prove that the AI is efficient or no. The issue now regarding the data quality, the quality of data, the inputs that you are doing on daily basis, the consistent of data that you are always feeding your AI system and agent. We have long distance and long history with Aleria over the past 1 year. On daily basis, we are trying our best level to maintain the level of quality of our data. 2-3 years back, because we have many subsidiaries, we have a legacy of 40 years, we are acquired Alfanar Gas Group. Alfanar has different type of data quality. We have Excel sheets, we have ERP system, we have NetSuite, we have CRM, we have many modules. With Aleria under IHC ecosystem, we have deployed all these data into one engine, and now as a group CEO, I can easily take a proper decision, even an investment decision, investment criteria, enhancing the operation. Even it's not a secret now, we are trying to release our balance sheet also depend on AI agent with Eric support and with the entire ecosystem under IHC. So this is how we see the difference between the short term and long term.
Amazing. Esteban, from you, especially given the view on sustainability and everything that is coming up nowadays with data centers and so on, what's your view on it?
Yeah, we see this as the next revolution. So you're the industrial revolution, now it's the IT revolution, where AI and data infrastructure play a key role. So from our side, how we approach it is more around how can you measure the impact of mainly then data infrastructure solution, like the building out of data centers that needs to be done in a sustainable way in order for it to be sustainable in the long term. But what we always take into account that it should also be profitable. So it's not only about sustainability, because sustainability without any profitability is also not sustainable. So from our side, we see it that way. And then, let's say, practically speaking, from a platform perspective, we use a lot of data. So we capture data. We use algorithms to assist our clients with decision making, and yeah, AI plays a key role in that. A human cannot do that. So to give you an example, one of our biggest projects, which we signed up right now, it's 50 million hectares of Brazilian rainforest. You cannot measure that as a human. It's impossible. So you need technology in order to measure that and see what's the strategy that you promise the world, right? As a country, could be as a country, could be as a project, but we like to work with countries. But as a country, what's the strategy you took, and how can that be measured? So which methodology do you follow? How do you measure it? And those data points you take and then measure and showcase. So for us, that's an important element. And separate from that, with that, if you as a country take the right approach on sustainability, you can then make it a tradable asset. Your environmental, let's say, advantage. So if you're not a massive polluter, you actually have a stock of emission mitigation outcomes. Those could be traded with other countries, which you could use within climate financing for other things, including, in our view, a focus on the data economy. So a country would then have the means, the financial means, to actually roll out the data economy, sovereign data solutions, building out data infrastructure. So that's how we see it from a bigger picture, where our platform plays the role just data capturing and doing the analysis.
And so it's interesting. So you describe this value chain and the role of data in governments and the link with sustainability. I have a question for both Benjamin from Northern Trust and then for Eric. So when you look at the complexity that this value chain has and that data and sustainability have, if I think about sustainability for a second, how do your clients and investors look at this, and how do you advise them on where somehow to focus?
Yeah, so I think if I was to start with that, we are supporting a broad range of investors, right? We have family offices, we have institutional clients like pension funds, insurance companies, asset managers across the globe. And many of them will have deployed a sustainability route. But very often, that has been still very much around asset allocation. And not so much yet around the direct impact of sustainability. And this is where I think the information of Esteban really comes to play. Where are you bringing the data together in a world that has a lot of distrust? And this is where we can start playing in together as multiple parties in an ecosystem. And what we are looking to do is provide the infrastructure that removes the problem of distrust. I can tell you, I need money from you, but you're not going to give it to me. I can tell you, give me carbon credits, but you're not giving it to me unless I give you money. This has been historically the area for custodians and asset servicing parties, providing a single place where the exchange of data, carbon credits, ITMOs, etc., for value is taking place. And that's where we are coming in with blockchain technology to just facilitate that perception of money for value.
Mm-hmm. And Eric, from your point of view, given the complexity of the value chain, how should an investor understand what's going on, or where should they focus on?
Well, let's try with an example. They bring this trust because they are able to add the blockchain and the way they do it with the old-style banking system and the new tech. Then you have the platform of Xange, who on the other side can show the complexity, analyze data, and then our AI can, on top, do better analysis, better extraction, better thing. But at the end, the platform is ready and the trust is there. And then you have IHC, who build this data center now on the ground and has to make a 40 megawatt data center. And the 40 megawatt data center is something like $400 million, $500 million asset. But you have to build, right? And this asset, if you build it in UAE, maybe we have already a lot of work on sustainability. But even there, we want to measure this impact. But if we do it in Brazil now, in Fortaleza, where they have this several millions, dozens of millions of hectares, look at this. They can build a data center. They can, using the platform of Xange, check each part and each phase and everything they have done, because they went globally around the world to choose the best supplier, the best partners, the most famous company. And this today, we can say, this data center is fully respecting all the obligation for sustainability, so it can get some of the carbon credit who has been registered in the platform to finance the data center in Fortaleza. And on top, my AI can check what is happening right now on the creation of the data center, the construction of the data center, and all these things can be monitored. So we are not talking about carbon credit from Netflix, created by some people in the middle of Europe who are reselling it globally, and a lot of scandal global and a lot of money lost by country and with nothing, or carbon credit from these dozens of millions of hectares will be transformed into something called carbon that just oil and gas company will buy to follow the obligations, right? We are talking of full sustainability, clear view on what is happening on the ground. And then investment can be managed by that, but more than that, we can even find some financement sources or resources to invest in IHC fantastic data center.
And if we stay on this for a second, and with Moustafa, when you look at it in terms of both the creation of data center, but as a user of AI, I mean, so many enterprises are struggling to actually scale AI and replicate the impact they have across and accelerate. So how do you look at it, and how do you, are you planning to somehow bring this consortium to a place that you can bring it to the next level?
We do believe in to implement the AI solution across your entire operation system. It depends on, you have to embed the AI into the core business. You don't have to only depend on a pilot project or a POC project. You have to fully align and to deploy the full solution inside the core business itself. From our perspective, it depends on three factors: the data readiness, proven use case, and governance. At IHC, we are applying the most recent ISO certificate, which is ISO IEC 14021. This is gives us the security and in order to apply the framework of all AI inside the entire organization. Most of the board and authority now is taking care about the risk mitigation, how to secure the data, how to have a clarity on all the decisions. We do believe we have succeeded at IHC in coordination with Aleria and other sister companies to have a full secure ecosystem. You can say it between brackets, sovereign AI belongs to our organization at IHC with Aleria. We do believe also we can replicate the same success model all over the world. Our mandate is to invest in the entire globe. We don't have a specific territory to invest. With Aleria and with our business partners, we can even deploy the modular data center or even the traditional data center. In addition that, we can see clearly that the challenge now is not to build a data center at all. The challenge now is to find the reliable, cleaner source of energy. You can find many companies now, many organizations can deploy a data center. For sure, there's a challenge that some companies is building a data center in 2 years, 1 year. Modular data center, which is our cases, we can deploy full MDC from design stage till handing over in only 7 to 8 months, which was cutting cost, depending on the latest technology of the liquid cooling. But with all respect, where is the energy to power the data center? This is a question. And this is the role of EHC under IHC in Abu Dhabi, because we own the infrastructure, we own an energy company, so we have an access to a reliable energy source. In addition, that we have inside our ecosystem the company who will build the infrastructure. And then we have Aleria, we have our partners from US, in order to have a full solution to our off-takers, which, by the way, we already have secured contracts, binding MOUs with more than 150 megawatt. We are ready to deploy together with our business partner, with Aleria as well.
And maybe if I come to you, Seman, hearing this and thinking about, the sustainability, and we heard also the word trust, right? And how important it is to understand, where will the energy come from, all the decarbonation and decarbonization, I will get it, imperatives when you think about the value chain of creating a data center, from energy to the chips being deployed and so on. How do you think about the trust that needs to be there in order to, for such, let's say, instruments to scale and for people to come?
Yes, yeah, in our view, so how we approach it is that you need to have transparency around the data, what you're measuring. So what methodology are you following? So that's clear. That methodology is implemented in our platform. Data is captured, can be shown on a dashboard, so a user sees what's being measured, what the source is of the data, and how we utilize blockchain technology as well in that is in order to make the data immutable. So it's not about it's more about creation of something which is non-fungible. So if you capture data and you timestamp it, and all the metadata includes that data, it can never be changed. So that creates then a chain of trust, and that's basically what we're doing. So with Northern Trust, the ecosystem that we want to build is an environmental market infrastructure solution, where on the one hand, if you have ITMOs, so internationally transferable mitigation outcomes, which are traded between countries, if you have that clear ownership, so who owns it, clear chain of ownership, that's something what they do. For us, there's second chain, which is basically clear trust chain. So like what data has been used, what's the data that has been there, and it's timestamped, so you cannot change the source or data input. Because in our view, in order to grow around sustainability and the different factors, so you have energy, you can have nature-based projects, you can have recycling-related projects. It's a lot of data. But in order to ensure that a buyer of carbon credits or of ITMOs can rely on the data, you really need to show that it's immutable, so that is not changed. It's basically computer technology which is used, and it's not human, because humans can change things, right? Like they can tweak things in the way on how they want it and how they would benefit from it. Where if there's no human intervention in the capturing of the data and showcasing of the data with an element of trust, then that gives a lot of reliability for a potential buyer.
I hear trust and I hear lack of human intervention. So for me, I think immediately about Eric and Aleria. So how do you think about the role of Aleria to further accelerate, and how do you look at the future on that?
Well, first of all, they are collecting the data in a proper way. So with this bunch of data, we can do whatever we want, And another thing is we can play with all these data sets. We can look inside, add data from other sources to check if it's fully reliable, and we can play with it, and we can give to investor a fantastic view, but we can give something else. We can prepare a full asset and a perfect AI for Abu Dhabi, because Abu Dhabi is a trusted place too. And this trusted place too is where all these countries, these partners can come and bring to this asset with a huge platform, all their carbon credit and all their data to guarantee that it's preserved in a platform with fully trustable, in a country with fully trustable, in a place with fully trustable, with a company like IHC and IHC and Xange and Northern Trust, it's in the name, it's written on it. and working all together to have a place with full trust to change the scale of this sustainability economy based on technology. And this I trust of it. And on top of it, and to finish about that, we can go even to the user. Because with Tawasal, our platform of communication, we can even end up in the hand of the user and he can measure himself his sustainability activity, what he's doing, how he impact, and even look at his country, what the country is doing with real data. Absolutely. And that's something that I think we are able to bring. I'm sure we will bring it, and it's why we are here to work together. And again, 150 megawatt, like this seems nothing because everybody talk about gigawatt, but 150 megawatt is somewhere where you can put something like 8 to 12 billion of GPUs. So it's an asset of several, let's say, dozen billions of dollar and euro, where we will put data and technology who can have to be sustainable to follow the obligation of our leaders, right? This is the story we are building. This is what they ask us to do. And so we try to bring to Abu Dhabi all these people with fantastic technology from Xange, with incredible work from people who are for the last 30 years or 40 years or 50 years, I don't even remember, 40 years capable of delivering energy on the ground every day, with people who want to prove that even the English banker can be modern. And with us who wants to bring all our technology with these people to bring trust. Trust is the word of the day. And technology that we bring are all trust technology. You know why? Because all of them can be measured. Even my AI is a sovereign AI. You can measure it. You can install it on-prem. You can keep it in an area where nobody can touch it. And we can sign it and we can use it with interacting with data who are fully trustable data, and it's not easy to find. So let's do it. Let's do it.
I have maybe one last question from Benjamin and then one for the group. So Eric mentioned trust a lot, but so did also Esteban and Moustafa. So when you talk to your clients and to the companies that you advise, is trust really up there, like their number one KPI with returns, or what are the things that people are coming to you and asking?
So there are a few things that clients want from us, right? One, they need the infrastructure, which we can provide through the platform. Second, they want to have it reliable, trust, where actually it's helpful that we are an accredited platform by the US government, by the Federal Reserve, considering that a carbon credit in the US is actually considered a regulated asset class. So that's really helpful. And then there needs to be a level of performance as well, value, financial value. And what we are saying actually is that buyers of IPMOs or carbon credits are not charged for those. So that's where we are actually bringing value, because we know that takes away a massive hurdle in the obtainance of those IPMOs or carbon credits. So I think those are the three elements: infrastructure, the trustworthiness of an asset class in unregulated infrastructure, and then the value of delivery.
Well, thank you so much. So maybe just as a closing and parting thoughts, when you look out there, last year has been a tremendous year for investors, a tremendous year also for venture capitalists. When you think now, looking at the next 12 months, how do you look at it? Is 2026 going to be the year of IPOs? Is it going to be the year of expansions? Any prognostic that you feel that you want to do? I don't know who wants to go first. It's a bit of a burning question.
Okay, I will start. From my perspective, 2026, it will be a significant investment towards AI and data center. we can all of us, we can see the unprecedented increase in demand of computing, of AI, of a data center. We do believe it will continue for the next 5 years, not only, we're not speaking about 2026, when we can see all the circumstances and appetite from investment perspective or a client base or off-takers, that all the ecosystem and the stakeholders are looking for the AI revolution. We do believe that it will continue for the next 5 years. Getting back to your question regarding the IPOs, not every company or organization will be able to list the entity and to have a successful IPO. It depends on the quality of services that they provides. It depends of how reliable the solution. It depends on their current balance sheet, their current backlog, the current revenue. I believe 2026, it will continue attract significant investment value across the whole value chain for the data center business or AI, starting from energy sourcing till the end user. This from our perspective.
Yeah, from my side, I would say it will also continue. Like in the end of the day, if you look on the street, if you're traveling anywhere, like people are on their phone, people are using their phone, want instant data on their phone. They're using all different AI tools. Even if you look here at WEF, there's so much AI companies, AI agents popping up. So from my view, mainly the data infrastructure solution side will continue to grow. That's a necessity. What Eric is mentioning. I think he also mentioned it the other day in other panel. Everybody's talking about data centers, but you actually need to build them, in order to have them. And I would say that there's still a lag there, but and that's then the necessity to keep on focusing on that, because in the end of the day, there is users. There will be more and more users. People already from a young age start using tablets and mobile phones, and it's all around data. So the data economy will continue to grow. And I would say from a sustainability perspective, the focus on country-wide, nationally determined contribution on the Paris Agreement to set that right, to really roll out a strategy for internationally trading of mitigation outcomes. For us, that is something what will continue to grow, and which will play a significant role because it's in combination with that. Yeah.
I think if I'm looking back, indeed 2025 was the year where we saw significant returns. But let's face it, I think we've been talking about blockchain technology for 15-20 years, but it's now getting also to the momentum that the right use cases started to exist, where you create efficiency, where value is being created, and where return is being created. And I do see that 2026 is going to be the year of massive adoption. We just heard President Trump talk as well, how he's going to put in more better regulation, in his words, the best regulation for crypto assets. We need to see how that is going to evolve, but I think the adoption of digital assets, including digital carbon credits and voluntary carbon credits, that is going to be mass adoption in 2026, where we will just have a trustworthy, mature product on blockchain technology. And that's where I see mass adoption as of 2026, because I agree it's not ending there.
And on Aleria, 2026, 2027, 2028, I see three things that we have to address. First of all, convince the world that trust needs proof, and proof can be obtained through technologies like the one we are talking about. So you can trust, but if you want to control, you will be able to control. And that changes everything, because then the trust is a real one, and it's a real chain of trust. It's not based on the weakest link of this chain of trust. Second, 2026, 2027, 2028, you have to understand that the new data center has to be built as data center with liquid cooling, and very complex one with electricity and all these things. And this type of data center needs very specific, very professional type of builders. On top, you need to have all these GPUs. And today you have one big gorilla in the room, NVIDIA, by the way, and NVIDIA can't provide all the chips for all the data center of the world. So at the end, we need to be positioned in the position where we are able to do what we have to do for our countries and for the countries' partners and for the companies like IHC, right? Means we need to be sure that we get our allocations and we need to be sure that we can push this allocation in production and lose the less, I would say, if you put 10 billion in production and you are 30% not efficient and you are not trustable, you will lose billions and billions of dollars. On top, we will add all our technologies and we will need all the technology to start transforming sustainability into asset. And this is what I think we will do during 2026, 2027, 2028. We will do AI for growth, and then we can transfer sustainability on AI for asset and control all this through this chain of trust. This is what I hope we'll do. Let's bring sovereignty. We have around the table a bunch of people capable of bringing sovereignty from UK to US, from UK to Abu Dhabi, from Abu Dhabi to the world. So let's try.
So positive message for our audience and for our audience from our panelists. Trust, but also real things happening across AI and sustainability. So this is somehow the consensus from the panel. So thank you so much for joining today.